Hi class, welcome to our lesson on odds for today. So what odds are is it's very similar to probability. The probability is the number of successes over the total, so you write it as a fraction. Odds, you write it as the number of successes versus the number of failures, and you write it with a colon right here. So probability you write with a fraction, odds you write as more of a ratio with a colon in the middle. So the number of successes versus the number of failures. So that's the odds for something, and then the odds against something happening is the exact opposite. So it's the number of failures that comes first, then versus the number of successes. Again, writing it with a colon. So whenever you see probability, make sure I see a fraction. Whenever you read odds, make sure that you write it with a colon. Okay? So those are two big things between odds and probability. Okay, the horse favored to win the Kentucky Derby is favored with 8-1 odds. That means this horse is very likely to win the Kentucky Derby because there's 8 successes versus 1 failure. So as a probability, what is the probability of that horse winning? It's 8 successes over a total possible outcome of 9. If there's 8 successes and 1 failure, that makes a total of 9 outcomes. So probability is the favorable 8 over the total, which is 9. So there's a probability of that horse winning. Find the probability of that horse losing. Well, there's 1 failure, so there's 1 over a total possible of 9 outcomes. So 1/9 says that the horse is going to lose. So now for our last question with this kind, what are the odds of that horse losing? Well, the odds of the horse winning are 8-1. So the odds of that horse losing, just switch the two numbers around, is 1-8. 1 failure versus 8 successes. So that is our answer for question letter C. Moving on to number 2. The probability of the Vikings making it to the Super Bowl in the next 10 years is 1 in 27. I did not make up this question, by the way. I am a diehard Vikings fan, and that fraction makes me a little bit sad, but let's answer the questions anyway. The probability of the Vikings making it to the next Super Bowl in 10 years is 1 over 27. Find the probability that the Vikings don't make it to the Super Bowl. So this 1 over 27 says it's very likely the Vikings will not. So find the probability that the Vikings don't make it. That's going to be a good possibility. There's 26 out of 27 is the probability that they don't make it. Again, this is like the success, 1, 27 is the total. So as odds, it would be 1 success versus 26 failures. So if the Vikings don't make it, that's 26. That's how we get our numerator over a total possible outcomes of 27. So 26 27ths is the correct answer for question letter A. What are the odds that the Vikings don't make it? Well, the odds of them making it are 1-26. So what are the odds against them making it? Or what are the odds that they don't make it? Well, then you switch the numbers around. It's 26-1. The odds that they don't make it are pretty good odds. They probably won't make it, 26-1. Letter C then, what are the odds that the Vikings do make it? Well, that's what we have written right here. It's 1 success versus 26 failures. So it's 1-26. Okay, question number 3 here. As a promotion for its anniversary, a certain store is giving customers scratch-off cards for a certain dollar amount off a minimum purchase. 95% of the cards give the customers $5 off. What a deal. 4% of the cards give the customer $10 off. And 1% of the cards give the customers $25. So what are the odds of getting a card with $25 off? So the odds is you're going to write it as a colon. The successes, there are 1% of people that get the $25 off. So what percent are the failures? What percent don't get $25 off? The other 99% get something else. So it's 1 success to 99 failures. That's the correct answer for letter A. For letter B, what are the odds against getting a card with $10 off? So here's a big word here, against. If I were to write the odds for getting $10 off, How many people get $10 off? 4% of the cards give customers $10 off. So the odds for would be, what did I just say? 4% versus the other 96 that don't get it. However, that's the odds for. We want the odds against. So that means there's going to be 96 failures and 4 successes. So this would be our answer after we reduce it. We reduce probability, we also reduce odds. So 96 to 4 is the same ratio as 24 to 1. So there's our answer for question letter B. It is not 96-4, so I should erase that so that you don't. It is the 24 to 1. Now let's find letter C. Find the probability of getting a card with $5 off. You're likely to get a card with $5 off because 95% get that card. So 95, and this time it's probability, so don't put the colon here. You're going to want to put the fraction instead. It's 95 over a total possible outcomes of 100%. So 95 over 100 is the same thing as 19 over 20. So there's the correct answer for question letter C. Let's move on to another situation. Here we have a pair of 6-sided fair dice are rolled. So what's happening, class, is on these dice you could get a 1-1, 1-2, 1-3, 1-4, 1-5, 1-6. And then this little purple number that you see in the top right-hand corner, almost kind of looking like an exponent, is the sum of all those dice. So 1 plus 1 is 2, 1 plus 4 is 5. You could roll 4 and a 3 and get 7. You could roll a 6 and 4 and get 10. So the purple numbers is all of the sums. So what we've done here is we've listed the sample space, and there's a total possible of 36 outcomes because we have a 6 by 6 square. So there's 36 outcomes, and then we also have their sums listed too. The lowest sum, 1 plus 1 is 2, and the highest sum, 6 plus 6 is 12. Okay? So hopefully you understand this sample space written here. It's going to help us answer the questions. What are the odds of rolling an even sum? So the odds for something is the successes versus the failures again. So you want an even sum. That's your success. So here's 1, and here are even sums, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Those are even sums. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 8 is an even sum. 15, 16, 17, those are even sums. And 18, 12 is an even sum. So there's 18 successes, and there's a total possible of 36 outcomes. So if you take 36 minus 18, there are also 18 failures. And hopefully that makes sense. You're just as likely to get an even sum as you are to get an odd sum. So the odds is 18 to 18. As we reduce that, it's simply 1 to 1 odds. You're just as likely to get an even sum as you are to get an odd sum. So it's 1 to 1. Letter B, what are the odds of not rolling a 7? Well, if I look at this, it's kind of like asking what are the odds against rolling a 7. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 7s on the board. There's 6 different possibilities of getting a 7. And those are going to be your failures. You do not want a 7. So it's going to be 6 over here. The odds of not rolling a 7, if there's 36 possible outcomes, there's 30 of them that do not result in a 7. So there's 30 to 6. Again, we would reduce that fraction, which is 5 to 1. What are the odds of not rolling a 7? It's 5 to 1. Okay, letter C is kind of worded a little bit tricky. What are the odds of rolling neither an even sum nor a sum greater than 10? So you do not want an even sum. That means you want all of the odd ones. And you do not want a sum greater than 10. So you want all the ones that are less, or 10 or less. So our successes then are going to be the odds, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. However, you also do not want the ones that are greater than 10. So these two sums of 11, the 6 and 5 and the 5 and 6 right here, those would also be failures because those are greater than 10. So instead of having 18 successes, there's only 16 successes. Here, I'll count them again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There's 16 sums that are not even and that are also 10 or less than 10. So 16 successes, and that would mean that there would be a possible 20 failures because 16 plus 20 is a total possible of 36 outcomes. So our answer then, as reduced, would be 4 to 5. 4 to 5 would be the odds for question letter C. I'm going to skip problem number 5 for now. We'll move on to our last problem, problem number 6. The odds of being chosen for jury duty during the year are 1 to 296. If your company has 1,400 employees, how many would likely be chosen for jury duty in that 1 year? Well, class, the way we set up proportions is we do the number over the total, which is kind of like probability. There's one person that's going to serve out of a total possible of not 296, but 297. There's one person that's going to serve 296 that will not serve. So that means the total possible is 1 over 297. So if one serves for jury duty out of 297, how many are likely to be chosen for jury duty out of the 1,400 employees that you have? So that's how you set up that ratio, that fraction. It's a proportion, so you're going to cross multiply. This equals this. So 297 multiplied by x, that equals 1 times 1,400. So now you're going to simply divide both sides by 297. And when you divide by 297, you get x is approximately 4.714. So what we're going to do here is, being that we're going to make sense of this, there's no such thing as getting 0.7 of a person. So we're going to say we could predict that between 4 and 5 people will serve for jury duty. And this is nice to know if you're a boss of a company. You should know that, well, in my year, I'm going to have to maybe replace these 4 or 5 people. I'll have to train new people in. This is going to be an expense to me. So to be looking towards those things is a good strategy if you're an administrative type of a position. So there's our lesson on odds. Let me know if you have any questions when you get to class tomorrow.